lights down, rumors up. Tonight on Silent Fame, we're pulling back the curtain on 10 celebrity couples who didn't just fall in love. They challenged everything we thought we knew about fame, gender, and age. From rock legends to TV icons, these LGBTQ+ relationships sparked headlines, hate, and hope. Some shocked the public. Some rewrote history. All of them? Real, raw, and worth remembering. Hit subscribe, grab a tissue or popcorn, and drop your favorite couple in the comments. 1. Elton John and David Furnish, the Rocket Man and his gravity. In a world of sequins and stadiums, Elton John soared higher than most. But even rockets need to land. And when he met David Furnish in the early 90s, Elton found more than love. He found gravity. A filmmaker with sharp vision and quiet resolve, David wasn't dazzled by Elton's fame. He was captivated by his soul. Their 15-year age gap made headlines. So did their matching suits and public kisses. But what most tabloids missed was the quiet choreography of two men building a life while the world watched, and sometimes whispered. Elton, the flamboyant legend with a piano as his pulpit. David, the steady hand who guided the madness into meaning. They've weathered addiction, media storms, and fatherhood twice. In 2014, when same-sex marriage became legal in the UK, they married. Not for spectacle, for substance. Two vows that echoed louder than any encore. Through activism, parenting, and decades of partnership, Elton and David redefined what a power couple could look like in the queer world. They didn't just perform love, they lived it. And for LGBTQ+ youth raised on silence, their visibility was a promise that being out and proud wasn't a liability. It was legacy. So next time you hear Rocket Man echo from a speaker, remember this: even legends need a place to land. And Elton? He chose David. Every time. If this couple moved you, hit subscribe and drop 2 in the comments. Their love story is still being written, and so is yours. 2. Tom Daley and Dustin Lance Black, the diver and the dreamer. He was a teenage diving prodigy with medals on his chest and pain behind his smile. Dustin was an Oscar-winning screenwriter who had already turned activism into art. When Tom Daley met Dustin Lance Black in 2013, they were 20 years apart, but heartbreakingly aligned. Tom was the British golden boy, raised under flashing cameras and whispered speculation. Dustin, the unapologetic voice behind Milk, a film that reshaped queer cinema. Together, they weren't just a couple. They were a collision of legacy and promise. Critics questioned the age gap. The tabloids hovered. But love, real love, doesn't take polls. They didn't just date. They built a marriage in a castle, a son born into light, a vow not just to each other, but to a future where queer families no longer needed to hide. What makes their bond unforgettable isn't the fairy tale, it's the fight. The decision to love openly in industries that reward silence. The courage to show affection when others flinch. The grace to parent without apology. Tom didn't just dive from platforms, he dove into vulnerability, and Dustin caught him. Every single time, this is not just romance. It's resistance wrapped in devotion. And if that resonates with you, hit subscribe and tell us, who's your dive-worthy partner? 3. Sarah Paulson and Holland Taylor. The love story that Hollywood still can't digest. Sarah Paulson doesn't follow rules, she rewrites them. Holland Taylor doesn't chase trends, she outlives them. And when these two women, divided by 32 years, but united by something far stronger, fell in love, Hollywood didn't know what to do. Some called it brave, others called it bizarre. A rising star with mainstream heat dating a woman old enough to be her mother? That's not a headline, it's a scandal. And Sarah knew it. which is why she leaned in. Hard. From that first red carpet moment, hand in hand, eyes blazing with defiance, they made one thing crystal clear. This wasn't a phase. It was a revolution. Sarah, known for her twisted turns in American Horror Story, brought unpredictability. Holland, the Emmy-winning legend from 2.5 Men, brought poise and precision. But together, they brought chaos to the status quo. The internet split. Fans adored their authenticity. Critics sneered at the aesthetic mismatch. And yet, every photo, every post, every interview just sharpened their message. We don't need your permission to be in love. Sarah once said, "I didn't fall in love with someone's age. I fell in love with a soul." But the world keeps counting the years anyway. The real question is, why does their truth still bother you? Drop your take in the comments, brave love or attention stunt. And don't forget to subscribe, because the real stories never fit the script. 4. Marc Jacobs and Char Francesco, high fashion, higher risk. When fashion icon Marc Jacobs fell for Char Francesco, model, former adult entertainer, socialite with a smirk that could start fires, the tabloids didn't blink. They exploded. This wasn't the safe, polished couple the industry expected. Marc, the man who redefined runway luxury, could have picked anyone. But he chose danger. He chose mystery. He chose Char. Their 26-year age gap? Irrelevant. What people really questioned was Char's past. Former adult actor? They whispered. Gold digger? They speculated. Marc didn't answer. He just posted the engagement video. A flash mob, a kiss, a diamond that screamed louder than any critic. To some, they're the ultimate love story. Proof that queer men can have wealth, power, and passion. To others, it's a brand stunt, curated chaos for clicks. But in between champagne flutes and matching watches lies something unfiltered. Marc's smile when Char isn't looking. The way Char softened, slowly, under the weight of real commitment. In a world obsessed with status, they dared to blur lines. Between high art and street heat, between elegance and scandal, between love and performance. So what do you see? True love or beautifully packaged lust? Debate it below. Just don't pretend you're not watching. And if you love your fame with a twist of danger, hit that subscribe. We're just getting started. 5. Colton Haynes and Jeff Letham. When glamour isn't enough? Hollywood sells the illusion of forever. But Colton Haynes and Jeff Letham dare to show what happens when the fairy tale cracks, and then dares to be rewritten. Colton wasn't just another pretty face. He was the brooding heartthrob from Teen Wolf and Arrow, with eyes that seemed to hold secrets, and they did. For years, he masked his sexuality behind studio smiles, battling anxiety, addiction, and pressure to be someone else. Then came Jeff Letham, floral genius, designer to Oprah, Cher, and the Kardashians. A man 17 years older, with taste that could silence a room and confidence that made it feel earned. Their 2017 engagement was Instagram perfect. Candlelit proposals, celebrity blessings, and a televised wedding officiated by Kris Jenner herself. But behind the petals and photos, things unraveled. Just 6 months later, Colton filed for divorce. No press release, just heartbreak and whispers. Some said Colton wasn't ready, others hinted at betrayal, emotional distance, or deeper demons. Then, silence, until 2018 when fans spotted them back together, quiet dinners, shared selfies, a second chance. They never fully explained the fallout. They never owed us that. But what they gave instead was more powerful, proof that queer love doesn't have to be flawless to be worth it. Jeff didn't just design flowers, he helped a man rebuild. And Colton didn't just marry a name, He chose someone who could hold him even when the cameras stopped. What do you think? Was this a PR romance or a battle-tested bond? Drop your take in the comments. And if you believe in messy love that still rises, hit that subscribe. 6. George Takei and Brad Altman, the romance that waited 20 years to breathe. Before it was safe, before it was legal, before anyone would clap. George Takei and Brad Altman fell in love in secret and stayed there for 2 decades. George, the iconic Star Trek legend, had spent a lifetime in the closet, not just for survival, but for survival within an industry that demanded silence. They would have blacklisted me, he once said. So he acted, smiled, nodded, and then came Brad. A quiet writer, marathon runner, and trivia buff, Brad Altman wasn't part of the Hollywood machine. He didn't want fame. He wanted George. And for 20 years, he stood beside him, unnamed in photos, unthanked in speeches, unrecognized by the world. Until California legalized same-sex marriage in 2008, George didn't just come out. He exploded. The couple married in a traditional Japanese-American Buddhist ceremony. No hiding, no pretending, just vows, family, and a moment 20 years in the making. It made headlines. It made history. Since then, they've become pillars of queer activism. George, outspoken on LGBTQ+ rights, racial injustice, and political truth. Brad, ever present, ever patient, and always the man behind the scenes who helped make it possible. They've weathered age, industry invisibility, and the weight of historical trauma. But more than anything, they've proven this. Queer love doesn't have to be loud to last. Sometimes it just needs time. And someone willing to wait. Can love still count if it hides for half a lifetime? Comment below and subscribe if you believe quiet loyalty is the boldest act of all. 7. Stephen Fry and Elliot Spencer. Scandal, cynicism, and the smartest match. Nobody predicted Stephen Fry was British royalty, not by blood, but by wit. The acclaimed actor, author, and activist was 57 when he met Elliot Spencer, a 27-year-old stand-up comic with boyish charm and a Twitter full of memes. And when they got married in 2015, Britain didn't know whether to cheer or cringe. The tabloids had a field day. What does a millennial comic see in a literary giant? Is Elliot a gold digger? Is Stephen having a midlife crisis? The age gap was 30 years, but the judgment was heavier. Fry, who'd battled bipolar disorder and public breakdowns, didn't flinch. "I've waited my whole life to find someone who makes me feel this peaceful," he said. And Elliot? He didn't cash in. He kept performing, kept it low-key, and quietly became the soft landing Stephen needed. Their relationship is weird. It's not performative. It's not Hollywood polished. They don't pose in coordinated outfits or make TikToks. They take road trips, quote wild at breakfast, rescue dogs, and just exist. No scandals, no flashy declarations, but also no apologies. Over the years, the noise has faded. What's left is something stubbornly real. A deep, quirky, oddly brilliant partnership between two men who defy expectations and refuse to explain themselves. Are you still side-eyeing this couple? Or are you finally convinced it's real? Let's debate it. And if you believe love should be as weird as it is honest, hit that subscribe. 8. Martina Navratilova and Julia Lemigova, the champion and the crown. She was the fiercest force to ever set foot on a tennis court. 9-time Wimbledon winner, LGBTQ+ trailblazer, a name that made both history and headlines. Martina Navratilova had always lived out loud. But love, that took longer. Enter Julia Lemigova, former Miss USSR, statuesque beauty, and walking contradiction to the world Martina came from. Russia, glamour, tradition, a 16-year age gap. At first glance, they seemed like different planets. But beneath the surface, both women had tasted exile, rejection, and public scrutiny. That's where their gravity met. They met in the early 2000s. Quietly, over years, they grew together, facing both admiration and whispers. Julia had children from a previous relationship. Martina had battle scars from decades of activism. Their lives weren't clean, but they were aligned. In 2014, Martina proposed on court at the US Open, in front of thousands. It wasn't just romantic, it was radical. An openly gay athlete asking another woman to marry her in the sport that once forced her to hide. Goosebumps, gasps, history. Since then, they've become one of the most powerful couples in queer sports culture. Equal parts elegance and grit. They walk red carpets, raise kids, co-author causes. When Julia joined Real Housewives of Miami, critics called it off-brand for Martina. But she didn't care. She supported her wife. Full stop. Drop your opinion. Are they an unlikely duo or the perfect proof that love finds a way? Hit subscribe if you think queer icons deserve real happily ever afters. 9. Rachel Maddow and Susan Mikula, the anchor and the artist. Rachel Maddow lives in headlines. She takes on wars, elections, corruption, and wins. But when it comes to love, she's private. Very private. That's why her relationship with photographer Susan Mikula remains one of Hollywood's quietest, queerest rebellions. They met in the most unexpected way. Rachel answered a gig to do yard work at Susan's house. Not exactly a Netflix rom-com plot, but it clicked. Rachel, in her 20s. Susan, 15 years older. One a rising media juggernaut, the other an analog-loving artist who preferred film to fame. Their love bloomed off the grid. No red carpet kisses, no Instagram flexes. Just dogs, dinners, decades. They moved to a quiet town in Massachusetts, traded press passes for paintbrushes, and built something that didn't care if anyone was watching. Even when Rachel became the face of progressive news on MSNBC, through elections, controversies, and late-night monologues, Susan stayed in the background. Not because she wasn't proud, but because their love didn't need proving. They've been together for over 20 years now. No marriage license, no ring, just unwavering devotion, the kind you don't tweet about, the kind you trust. What's stronger, loud love or private loyalty? Drop your take in the comments. And if this quiet power couple earned your respect, hit subscribe. We see you. 10. Niecy Nash and Jessica Betts, the plot twist nobody saw coming. Niecy Nash had been married, twice to men. She was loud, funny, iconic, the queen of black comedy with curves, charisma, and confidence for days. So, when she posted her wedding photos in 2020 with singer-songwriter Jessica Betts, the internet combusted. Was it a coming out? A rebrand? A queer stunt for clout? Nope, it was real. Messy, magical, unapologetically Niecy. She said it best herself. I didn't marry a gender. I married a soul. Jessica, 12 years younger, had been in the background, writing songs, dressing androgynous, never chasing the spotlight. But Niecy brought her forward, and Jessica didn't blink. She serenaded Niecy, wrote about her, held her hand on red carpets and in interviews. Their chemistry was undeniable, raw, sensual, and joyful. But not everyone cheered. Some fans called Niecy confusing. Others accused her of betraying black church values. Her response? A kiss, a laugh, a vow to be exactly who she is. Their marriage isn't just love, it's resistance, against boxes, against binaries, Against the idea that identity is static, Niecy didn't come out. She came alive. Do you believe in love that changes the script? Or are you still trying to define her? Tell us. And if Niecy Jessica lit something up in you, hit subscribe. Love isn't always neat, but it's always worth showing up for. So which couple shook you the most? The ones who defied age, defied norms, or simply stayed quietly, fiercely in love? In Hollywood, authenticity is the rarest currency. But these 10 couples cashed in with truth. Want more untold stories from behind the fame? Smash subscribe, ring the bell, and tell us which love story hit you hardest and why. Because visibility isn't just power, it's survival. And your click helps keep it alive.